Okay, I guess it's, I don't know, maybe I accidentally ended it without realizing it, but I gotta switch my headphones. Of course, my other headphones decided that they were on low battery right when I was getting started. So let me just really fast switch my sound to my other headphones, and then I'll start getting ready. I've been wanting to do a Shonen Jump chapter read for a bit now, like do it on the Sundays, and eventually, like, I want to figure out how to blur the panels so I don't have to like make the page obviously as zoomed in. I just got kaiju right now as the background because the chapters aren't up for like another minute, so we'll see. And then real quick, I don't think anybody's here yet still, so it should be easy for me just to kind of finagle my way around getting shit set up. If anybody is here, hello. I want to try and do, what's up, Ner? I want to try and do these. I don't know if I can do it every Sunday, but I'd like to. Because, just going through the chapters, talking about generally, like, what I have hope-wise for the week, and, like, where my thoughts are about, like Doron is in an area where it might get axed. I'm not 100% sure. And, the speculation for the new series and, like, where... I think, like, because I know that there are other people that can definitely spot them, but there are probably people who don't, like, see, like, signs, like, red flags. It's like, oh, the series is going to get axed. Maybe, like, pointing stuff like that out would be useful. Obviously, having, more direct kind of conversation about what's going on in the week might be fun. And instead of just, like, a video, because I was doing, like, reviews, and I want to keep doing my reviews for, like, Fairy Tail and stuff. But I think doing live streams for other things where I can kind of get, like, the feedback of people. Because, like, some stuff like Undead Unluck and Mission Core Family don't really have that much fan bases over in the West. So it's like, when I was doing reviews on Mission Yozakura and Unluck, they didn't get that much. There was, like, very little traction. It's not just the views. It was like there was, like, barely any comments, which was, like, the harder part if no one was really talking about it. So it'd be easier just to do it in stream. Let me see. Some of my shit fell over last night. I think some of my posters fell off the wall. I got these like little double-sided sticky things. I gotta get some, put them back up there. Let me read some of the comments real quick, and then we'll read some of the chapters. Your expert time just got to work. How you doing? I'm doing pretty alright. I just woke up like an hour ago. Like, I worked late last night, and so I decided to pretty much just sleep in. And sometimes I try to sleep until like around the chapter when they come out. Excuse me, cat. You came in here. Stop being loud. She comes right in here just to hang out, and then immediately starts yelling. Excuse me. I will let her out. Hang on a second. What are you doing? Get out of here. Go. Charger, so you don't have to leave? Okay. He's going to hang out with her. Shut the door. All these damn cats. Okay. Let me get to the comments, and then we'll read some of the chapters. I don't expect these to be like, my normal stream numbers or anything, just because, like, this is, people who obviously follow my channel know what the more kind of like, more kind of general conversational series. Like, obviously, if I did one on Black Clover, that'd probably do pretty good, obviously, even 0-4 Nights, and then obviously Fairy Tail is like my biggest one, whereas, like, I don't know how many people are going to care if, like, my overall Shonen Jump kind of takes. That is JK Network from Twitter. Crazy how a lot of series, crazy how the star of the series, Jalal, can injure Alvarez Agil. What? But that wasn't at the beginning. Or you just mean in general? He has a spell, this break, which is equal to Jupiter. I mean, Agil, like, the thing about Agil, as we saw, is he, with Jupiter, can block it barehanded, no problem. But he was blindsided. And there's, like, the obvious gap between a character, bracing themselves and being cheap-shotted. You can be, hit by somebody way weaker than you and still take damage and still be hurt if it's something that you didn't expect at all and it's just a complete blindside. If Shiki met Seraph and knew his situation, I think he definitely would say that he'd want to be friends with him. I mean, I would hope that he would realize that's a bad idea. So he can't be around Seraph. I don't like how every male character and then Delica's love interest used to move the plot. I mean, like, it is at its core like a love story. Like, it actually is at its core like a love story. Crazy Adore You, Clap Shiki, and Blue Note put together. Pumpkin Supremacy. Yeah, I was thinking about Blue Note for a second, but it's like he has gravity manipulation, so he'd be able to get around that passive gravity. And Doryu has the hacks to deal with Blue Note. Big fellas. Ajis are always in the same thing. Risha Valentine watches Nobara, and Rax is Jeff. Now, my girl would definitely beat Risha 100%. But anyway, let me get to the chapter. Let me get into some of these chapters, and we'll read them. So I am gonna read that Ruri Dragon series. I'm really hoping it's not a slice of life. Like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be. I like the art, like character school. I really want there to be like another battle shonen with like a female lead. Like, we haven't had any. Just because it just has a different vibe to it. Let me just, I'm gonna open tabs for each of them. I've already read One Piece and I read Jujutsu Kaisen because those were fan translated early, so I'm not gonna read those here. But the one that I'm probably the most hyped for this week is Mashle. Mashle's just been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed Mashle pretty much every week. The only times that I'm not like into it is when it's like more of a goofy chapter. So what's that, 5 series? I don't think I missed anything. Let me read. Oh yeah, the aliens area. I want to read that one because the first chapter I thought was good, but it wasn't enough to kind of like get me that hyped on it. Because like the main thing to me was like the premise was cool, but the main character is all right. His design is pretty plain, but his power is kind of like But it's like that was only the first thing we saw of it, and legitimately, what the main character does, like whatever their abilities, I'm gonna put Mashle probably near the end because Mashle's probably one of the ones I'm most excited for. Let's read the new series because if it's like just a slice of life, I'm probably gonna skim through it. Like, I'm hoping it's good. If it's like a good comedy, that's cool. But I really want there to be like another battle shonen with like a female lead. That's what I liked about Candy Flurry. Also the weird creativity with the powers. It's gonna be a slice of life. I assume so. I was kind of hoping. My hopes is it's kind of like Mission Yozakura or Hitman Reborn, where it's like 1/3 slice of life, 2/3 battle shonen. Maybe it's like it'll be one of those ones that evolves into a battle shonen. I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it probably won't just by the one shot premise, but I think it'd be really cool if it would be like, you know, some cool like half dragon chick, have some maybe like a bunch of cool like half mythological creature battle shonens. Maybe, you know, maybe you do the move where it's like mostly female enemies and play off that, make it a waifu war series. I mean, those work. Those definitely work. I just wish that we would have one that's not like a lot of these male main characters have looked really plain. Like the dude from Aliens area looks a lot like, not the same, but it looks a lot like Maruo from Ayashimon. He looks very similar, which is to me like, you know, it's not as much of a fun design. Oh, but what I was saying about Aliens area is like the main character's power, I think, is important. Like, you don't have to have the full, like, whatever your plans are, obviously, in Chapter 1. But you want to have at least enough that it's interesting to your readers, because this is what you're going to be seeing the whole series. So, let me read some of these comments again, but then I'll get to the actual comments. Mid-Clover fans really praising the theory that none of Asa's achievements are his and Lucius complete. Well, I mean, it's not, Black Clover's not mid, but I agree, I don't like that theory at all. I really don't like the theory where it's like everything is Lucius doing time manipulation stuff. I really don't like that. Because it's going to take away the accomplishments, like you said, and like I've said before, of all the characters involved if it's only ever been this dude who's been manipulating everything on the side. Like, if he's done like small nudges, like anytime like something's starting to kind of like teeter out of his plan, he kind of just gives it a little bump. Well, like, say, because I know everyone's like, well, he was reversing time or whatever for everybody, and that's what was the disadvantage for Lucifaro. But it's like, if he's reversing time, a redo would give Lucifaro the same level advantage that everybody else would get. It's not like he's hurt and then their damage is reversed, but his is still the same, so it's just like they keep getting fixed while he just is slowly getting stacked damage. No, and it's not like he was running out of mana either. It's just like he, was just not doing anything, just standing there while Asta was getting like power-ups and stuff, and decided to take forever to realize, like, I should just move. You hear that? She is, I don't know if you can hear it in the back, but now she wants to come back in, and I'm not opening that door. She's going to come in and then want to leave again. Let me see. But yeah, what was I saying? let me scroll up. What was the comment? Oh yeah, the Lucia stuff. I'm just not a fan, and like I'm not a fan when people want to make it too much on like a weird theory. And on top of that, like the idea of him casually reversing time, like people don't realize how bad of like a potential corner Tabata would put himself in if Lucius can just casually reverse all time. Because like he can see in the future, heal his wounds through time manipulation, and if he can reverse time itself, how did they beat him? And then people say, well, anti-magic, they don't understand the gap between selective time stop and actual time stop. If actual time stop happens, Asta wouldn't be able to anti-magic anything. Because one, there's no target for him to affect with anti-magic because time itself, like where do you affect time? Like it's a concept-based ability. And two, how does he activate it if time stopped? It's different with like chronostasis because time doesn't actually stop. It's time is stopped for a person in a selective location. So it's like I always say like pseudo time stop, and then it's like actual time stop. I usually call like true time stop, just because it's a whole different boat of what you do when you're actually manipulating the thing at large scale versus like within like a 10-foot radius or some shit. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that theory, but I will say Black Clover's not mid. I think the villains as a whole are really overlooked. It's not just Zeref. Villains like Hades, Margir talked about, which the community like Aizen and Doflamingo are. I mean, like, Doflamingo and Aizen, though, those are, like, the peak villains of their series. So it's, like, it's not like... I get what you're saying, but it's not like people are really talking up, like, Askin or something, or talking too much about... I mean, even, like, Grimjow and Ulquiorra don't get, like, nearly as much of the hype as, like, the general big villains of each series. But I mean, like, Margir is really, really highly rated for, like, people who go through Fairy Tail. Like, I've only seen one person dislike Margir, and it's, like, that one Fairy Tail Twitter account that says Natsu's the worst character in every arc, and they skip over him in any time they post pictures, which I think is stupid. It's not even, like, if you dislike him, but it's, like, if you're a gimmick account, like, why would you go to your way to, like, slander the series like that and slander the main character? Like, it's like, if your thing is a gimmick account, you should be, like, trying to push sides and stuff. You should be what the theme is. I just think that's stupid and really petty. Also, Eden Zero's Noah English voice actor passed away. Oh, really? That sucks. That's really unfortunate. Okay, let me kind of skim through this chapter, and then we'll talk a little bit of what's going on. So the chick got her horns. Like, I like the art style. The color palette is alright. The character design is cool. But, like, the thing for me, like, it's, like, so far, like, pretty much, like, the same as the one-shot. But also, I'll do my shill for the channel and stuff afterwards. But obviously, you know, thumbs up the video, I appreciate it. Retweet, like, the post to get more people in. And if you feel like it, donating $1 or $2, or just becoming a member of the channel. And, you know, the join button's right there, all that stuff. But anyway, oh, I think that's kind of funny. Like, she's, like, asking about it, and she's like, he says, like, were you horns? And she's like, what? And he's like, oh, it's dragon. And he's like, oh, I didn't ask for the English wording. Stuff like that I actually kind of think is funny. I actually like that when it's just, like, it's just a dialect thing, or it's actually addressed. Because I assume in the Japanese version, it's, like, easier to process, but it's, like, you kind of have to get it differently for, like, the reading it in English. Obviously, knowing Ryu means dragon. Like, I want to like this series just by the premise. But I'm not a huge fan of gag series. Because it's like, if something's really funny, obviously there's some good takeaways from that. But it's like, I don't want to read something if there's not really a plot. If there's nothing kind of get invested in. Because even like two series, I'll use real quick. Just like Gintama and Needless. Gintama, I mean, granted, Gintama has plot. I'm aware of that. But it's like, it has so much goofy stuff that it's hard for me to really get into the plot, so it's like I don't really have any investment, versus like Needless, which I think balances its jokes and it's out of context, it's like fourth wall breaking meta stuff a lot better, at least to my liking. Rather, let me say that to kind of like how I like stuff. Like, some people might like prefer like how Gintama is kind of like in like Deadpool-esque, where it's super meta, fourth wall breaking. They do it all the time. If it's too much, I'm personally not a fan about that. I had to correct myself, because it's like, it's not even like, I don't want to be rude to Gintama. It's like, I know that Gintama has plot, and it's like, at that point, the comedy amount is just depending on personal preference. Actually, I kind of like that. Like she has the horns and there's no hiding it because then it's just like everybody has to kind of deal with it. But I already know this is not going to be a battle shonen. I feel like this is like pretty much the same as the one shot though. Like as far as I know, this is like pretty much the same as the one shot. She'll go meet. Oh no, she doesn't meet her dad. I guess in the one shot. Yeah, I don't. I'll kind of keep an eye on it, but I don't know if this is going to be a series for me. Later, I'll give it like an actual read and see like if I like it. But it's like one thing I just wanted to see if it was going to be, if it was going to have any of that battle shonen or anything kind of like more towards that. So I'll read the comments each time I go between chapters. Tuesday Soul Eater, best female led series. I like Lucy way more than Maka. Like Maka's all right. I think she's fine, but like I've never had a really negative opinion on her. But I've never really had a positive opinion on her. Well, overly positive, I'd say. Not positive. Like, I have positive takes on her and positive opinions. But, I mean, besides that, like, she's never been somebody that I got too hyped on. Like, if you were going to tell me to pick, like, a bunch of my favorite female leads, I don't even think she would come across my mind unless I had to have a number and I couldn't think of any others. Like, she's cool, but... Okay, one thing I'm hoping for the Aliens Area chapter. Because, like, I like the premise of the series. It's, like, a little bit battle shonen-y mixed with Men in Black, which I think is really cool. Like, I really like when they have, like, a general kind of, like, thing you can compare it to, but it's obviously in its own style. Like, what was that one series, Under 19, that, you know, a couple years ago? It was, like, a battle shonen version of Codename Kids Next Door, which I thought was an interesting idea. Like, it didn't do well. I like the main character's power. I thought his power was really cool. But the way that it's, like, obviously, like, it's, like, an easy to comparative thing to kind of, like, give a... To kind of explain it, you don't have to go into much premise. Like somebody's like, "What is Aliens?" It was like kind of like Shonen Men in Black. That's like, oh, cool. That's kind of cool. Like you don't have to go over like the whole like premise because they're just so easy to latch onto. Obviously, it's not the same thing, but it's just that kind of like TLDR win, like where you can just kind of like jump right into pretty much letting them understand what it's about. Okay, so let me see. So obviously the guy was offered the job. I can't remember his name. They'll say it at some point. I know his name is, it's like one of those comic book names where his first and last name are very similar to each other. So it's like, okay, he's being offered a job where he's going to lose his memory. I like it's like, what exactly is 4 to Affairs 5? I've never heard of that. You think somebody who it's like, I mean, like, maybe it's just because he's, like, obviously, like, in the moment that he's not thinking about it that much. But I feel like if somebody offered me a job and the alternative of the job was, we are going to erase your memory, the first thing I would think of would be like, that's probably why I've never heard of it. It's probably why I've never heard of it. It's like they're going to erase your memory, apparently, if you don't want to be a part of it. So I assume it's probably not public. So then it's just like, you know, he's not really even an answer. People are talking about like, okay, let's just wipe his memory and stuff. They even got the sunglasses like in Men in Black, which is really cool. I like that. It's just neat to me. I like when it's like a little bit, you can tell where the inspiration is. It's one of the reasons I like Chainsaw Man reminds me a lot of Evil Dead. Like a lot of like the general kind of tone and like the over excessive blood and gore. Denji's personality is not the same, but it has a bit similar vibes to Ash Williams and how he's just like, he's a very non-expected hero. And that's kind of like how Denji was too. But yeah, he's just kind of like doing the normal thing, like, you don't have to do it, but if you do, like, things could be good for you. I actually like this. So they're saying, but is it really alright to bring an implantee into Foreign Affairs 5? So that's probably what the power people are called, implantees. Or at least what they call them. People have been implanted by this alien. What was it, like, radio waves from their stuff, like, messed with people or something? It was something like that. That was like part of their description for how their powers worked, I think. Like it was like something about like how the aliens like machinery worked, like messed with their DNA, or was it like they were abducted and experimented on? Something along those lines. I don't think it's like vital for me to know in chapter 2. Like I'm sure like I could look back at it and find like the answers and it'd be just fine. Got an alien substance in his body. Okay, so it must have been like injected or something. Working organization that solves interstellar problems. It's incredibly unusual. I mean, I feel like that'd be like a win for pretty much like anybody though, because if you have people with like alien powers, I feel like the easiest way to kind of like make use of them is to be in your group, because then it's like you can keep tabs on them, and you can use their abilities for a good purpose. And on top of that, it's like you have somebody with like extra abilities working for you and stuff. It probably would make whatever the general jobs are much easier. I'm gonna show you a civilian how we do our work. I mean, yeah, apparently, but he's not gonna be a civilian now. Like, dude, calm down. Like, he's gonna. I mean, it's not. I feel like that's not even like a big deal kind of question. It's like you can erase his memory and like, calm down, dude. Let's see. Okay, this guy's like taking responsibility for it. This guy looks cool. I hiccuped right there, like in the middle of that. I like this guy's design. This guy looks really neat. I like his like weird hairstyle. He looks kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh character, to be perfectly honest. Like if he had an extra color in his hair, I might think he's a Yu-Gi-Oh character. He just has a little bit of that odd nature vibe to him, and a little bit of that just kind of like extra in his design that like Yu-Gi-Oh has. You must promise not to get involved. If something happens to you, it's my response. Oh, sorry, I read. So, like, is this guy? I assume this guy doesn't have any powers. I wonder what the going rate for like people with abilities and stuff is going to be in this series. Like, if it's going to be, 5%, 10%, or like how exactly this is all going to work. Like, that's one of the fun things though about when a new series comes out is like figuring out like the details, like figuring out like, oh yeah, like what's the percentage, like I said, of powers? Like, what are the enemies like? What are the bad guy groups like? What's going to be the tone for, like, problems? Because, like, one series, it's a good example. Another one I was sad that got axed, Golem Hearts. But one of the things I really liked about Golem Hearts is it seemed to have, like, the main character was really happy and optimistic, but, like, whenever conflict happened, it was, like, really brutal. That's one of the things I like about Doron, though, too, is, like, when the authors don't really care about like killing off random civilians and stuff, like characters with no names. So I was like, maybe that'll be this something like with this series where, they kind of just show like, oh yeah, these bad guys are bad guys. Kill off some random characters that are important. It's not supposed to be like some giant shock, but it just kind of like it shows you the situation. Okay, so they're at some like old house. There's aliens abducted this girl, another prisoner, but she sees an opportunity to escape. Okay, so there's aliens, I guess, in this building. I hope these are cool-looking aliens. The aliens from the first chapter were, like, as basic alien as you can get. Like, they just had weird eyes and stuff. Okay, this guy's got, like, a bug mouth. Okay, we're talking. Bug aliens. I'm a huge fan of bug aliens. He, like, throws a rock and it, like, dents into a tree. That's pretty cool. Like, stuff like that, just kind of obviously showing his strength. Oh, he's got a... Oh, are they rocks? Or... Okay, it's definitely rocks. He's, like, sitting on piles of wood. And I'm like, is he breaking off chunks of wood or something? I wonder if it'd be better. Like, he should be flicking, like, needles. It'd probably be harder. Oh, he's like, there's no... That's not a regular police officer. I guess not, because, like, the dude dodged the rock, no problem. Because clearly he saw it. So he must have, like, superhuman abilities. I mean, he was already doing some crazy stuff, but, he, like, more so than what was thought. So this must... I'm guessing this is going to be a chapter showing off this dude. I don't remember if they said his name, though. That's one of the hard things, obviously, too. It's like when characters don't have, like... names that immediately click. Sometimes it'll just be like, waiting to figure out what exactly this guy's name is said again, or I have to go back and read a chapter another time. We'll see. Let's see. Are you guys from Foreign Affairs 5? I feel like you should have been able to guess that, dude, considering like they clearly know you're an alien, and they've got like the dude dodged like a rock thrown so hard that it like dented into a tree. So I would assume this guy's like something extra. I've caught you red-handed and is arresting for abducting Earthlings. See, if I was an alien or like a monster or anything, I would never run into this problem. It's like, what was it, Tokyo Ghoul? Like, I would have been great in Tokyo Ghoul. I would have went somewhere, like, I would have went somewhere in like America. It's assuming I'm American, but like in general, not just American. Like wherever I'm at, I would go somewhere really crime-ridden, and I would only eat criminals, and I would trade. Like, I would trade for the locals, and I'd say, like, I will help you guys in your situation, but just, don't rat me out. I won't eat any good people. I'm only going to eat bad people. Like, you do that, and you got kind of, like, a good cover. And especially, like, with the way ghouls work, if, like, other ghouls came in, you killed and ate them, then you get more powerful. So, I don't know. I wouldn't have gotten into this problem. I'm not going to be like, I'm an alien coming to Earth. I'm going to immediately abduct humans. It's like, that's a terrible idea. Like, you don't go somewhere and then immediately harass the locals. That's a bad idea. Aliens living on Earth forbidden from harming Earthlings. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's just a bad idea. Don't go somewhere and, like, harm the people. Like, that's just going to get you bad attention.
yeah, it's like law enforcement. The guy's an idiot. Like he just, I wonder if he's like maybe like some like he's like a species that has to eat people, or it's going to be one of those things where it's like he kind of felt like he was forced, or if he's just stupid. Okay, the dude's running away. He's clearly Click. Maybe he's like a bug. I want him to be like a bug alien. I hope it's like a further Men in Black kind of nod, and he's got like a cockroach alien form or something. I think that'd be sick. Okay, the dude pressed something on his watch. Oh, this is cool. Like, okay, it says like equipment 1, authentication complete. Equipment 1, gravity field control. So, that's cool. So, if they integrate like neat technology into this series, I would be so stoked. Like, I really like it when series have like powers, but like an additional thing where it's like it has powers, but that's not everybody has to have it. It's not like the core. It's something that's an aspect that you could have, but there are alternatives, because that sets up like ways for like the main character to have both a weapon or like technology and a power, and especially in like a sci-fi series, it fits so well. That's one of the reasons I really like Wise's Arsenal suit in Eden Zero, and I get mad when it's like his Arsenal suit doesn't get when I feel like the Arsenal suit doesn't get the amount of glory that it should. Just because it's like it's cool that he has both, where it's like if I assume the main character of the series survives, will get two things. I like this guy so far. This dude with the gravity field, I think he's pretty sick. I really like the design. I like his power. Oh, he must have. So he got punched, but he's spitting. So I'm guessing he used like the gravity to pretty much like take away a lot of the force from it by spinning. That's pretty smart. And stuff like that. Like he probably has multiple different gadgets and stuff. So it's probably like stuff that he uses in utility, which is another thing I really like. I like when characters have like little extra powers that they use for just like little bonuses. Another one was like how Wizard again on Eden Zero was using his wind ether, where it's like he wasn't using it for like attacks. It was pretty much just for movement, where he was like jumping around and just using it to avoid attacks. Billy does it similar with like his powers. Like he's got his 6 that he can use, and some of them aren't like direct battle stuff. It's like CC and utility. Because that's just, to me, like that's just a smart thing to do. Don't just go all attack in. Like if you were a character like your thing is literally all offense, I would still say like have something just like as a backup. You don't have to have some like little cheat move, but like it's a pretty good idea to have something that kind of generally helps you at like a crowd control, or is some form of defensive thing or something. Let's see. You don't even know how to use zero gravity properly. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it's like that makes sense why the alien would have like more experience with like zero gravity, because they're using space, from space and stuff. You may be the law, but you're low tech. Literally piss me off. My planet survival of the fittest. I mean, that makes sense why this guy doesn't seem to really care about the law at all. If he's just like from some lawless planet, I think that makes sense. Rules that allow only victors is the problem. Let's say him touching the dude's cane is a bad idea. That's a bad idea. You think that if this guy has like crazy gadgets, I'm gonna assume that his main thing he's carrying around is probably a gadget too. So he just electrocutes the hell out of this dude. It says because that makes you someone who simply can't obey the rules. How unfortunate for you. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, he just clapped this dude. The guy was, like, smart at one thing but stupid on another thing. The right hand of yours does have powers to help people. He didn't do anything, did he, in this whole chapter? I'm fine with that. Like, it clearly wasn't a chapter for him. But, like, I don't think he really did anything other than kind of stand around. It seems like he's pretty happy that they helped people, so that's probably going to be what kind of drives this dude into joining, like, the Foreign Affairs 5 group. Can't help that its potential at a ramen. Wait on. Let me see. It can't live up to its potential at a ramen joint, so put it to work. Oh, it's because where the guy worked at a ramen place and he kept dropping stuff. You're still having troubles. You're still having any doubts or questions? Let's see. I'll only be getting a high school degree, but I need some kind of certification or something. The guy's pretty much just like, you're fine. You're okay. I don't think you need an alien degree to fight aliens. You still got to care for Taro. Yeah, his brother and sister. You talk rough about their family, anything else, yeah, I'll take the job. I mean, like, I assume... Here's the thing. And if I was just standing next to the guy when they initially said it, not even, like, there. If I was the main character dude, and I was in a situation and they offered me, like, a top-secret government job, I'm pretty sure my first assumption would be like, that shit probably pays well. That shit probably pays well. Let's get to it and get going. Fight aliens for lucrative amounts of money? Okay. Okay, so that's that series. Let's go. I want to do Undead Unluck, and then I'm going to do Mission Yozakura, Doro, and then we'll do Mashle. So let me read some of the comments, and we'll see what is everybody's opinion on the aliens area for anybody else who's read it. Is Yami on Twitter who argues with, talking about Ender, and they're like to argue with people. I don't like the clock theory because it makes Austin because victories less meaningful. I agree. Lucius healed Asta's arms. I don't think so. Because, like, Asta, it's not like he had broken arms or anything, right? He had a messed up leg during the fight. People want Lucius to be Yuhabak. See, that's the part of the problem, is, like, think about how Yuhabak had a really OP power, but there was nothing set up to get around that. And so, like, Kubo had to make one. And that's similar to Overhaul. Overhaul versus Deku, I knew was going to be a fight where Deku was never really going to get touched because he didn't have a way around this power. Whereas somebody like Natsu or Asta, where they have stuff built into how their powers work, burning magic or negating magic, that says like, oh, well, somebody is like can have a crazy power, they have a way to counter it, but maybe you can have something like, say like, oh, the attack hits them, but they're able to cancel the effect after a short period, so they only took a brief amount of the damage or whatever it is. Whereas like someone like Deku, there was no shot, so he was just gonna have to pretty much dodge it the whole fight. And like when you write your character having too much, and your only option is either pretty much to have them avoid the entire time, I think it's kind of but also like if it's too much, you have to invent a way pretty much on the spot to beat them. And I feel like that'll happen with Lucius if Tabata makes him too crazy with no real way to go against them. And like, there's always going to be the people like, well, anti-magic is like, one thing is, I already talked about like the obvious say about like how full-time stuff would work, but here's the thing. I love Black Clover. It's one of my favorite new gen series. Like my favorite 3 new gen. It's like Black Clover, Eden Zero, Chainsaw Man. But the facts are, and this is a problem I actually do have with Black Clover. It's not a big problem. It's something that I would look at and kind of say is that Tabata puts too many situations where anti-magic is the fix. And that's like my thing with anti-magic, is anti-magic ends up being too much of a fix-all situations kind of thing. And granted, it's like the obvious nature of the power, it's with the main character. But if every single scenario ends up being like, we'll just put Asta in there, it does take away a little bit from stuff. It does take a little bit away from the vibes, and it takes away from some of the other characters if they know that, if we know that they're not going to do anything other than buy time for Asta. And that I'm not okay with. I don't want it to be like anti-magic is the only solution to everything. I don't want that. Because that's like one of the things that like is one of the reasons like when Asta showed up during the Magikia fight, everyone was worried that Asta was going to take the spotlight. It's not because he's the main character. It's because like, well, is anti-magic going to be the fix for this problem too? And I didn't want that. What's up, bud? How's it going? So kids are gratis. All the battles you've ever had have been the Palm Man. I hope not. Dear Lord, please. Asta gets this sword and slices time in the end. Well, I mean, like, you have to slice like the magic, but it's like if he did like Fate Release on time, but it's like, wouldn't that only even in theory work in the jail area around him? I don't know. Because when you're stopping time itself, you're not stopping the people with your magic, you're stopping time. So the magic aspect wouldn't ever like really reach Asta or anybody because it'd be on time itself. There's nobody, because it'd be like, if you think of it almost like everybody's power is almost as like a color or something. Think of like everybody's magic as a color. It's like, okay, Chronostasis, whatever Lucius, let's just say yellow. And then it's like you imagine around Asta like a layer of yellow. And then he uses like Fate Release, cancels it all out, it's off. But if he stops time itself, unless it's like everything is yellow, then I don't really know what he would do. Because otherwise it'd be like what? Nothing, because none of the people would really be under the effect, because it's not like he's stopping time for everybody in that manner. He'd be stopping time itself, so it'd be like that at its core versus the overarching amount of like the people involved. It's a little bit of a weird thing kind of to think about. What if somebody sins YouTuber, not Black Clover? That is true. Or Gary would lose the Mimosa. Quan would probably say that. I'm not sure if you've seen Eden Zero, but at least have a Overdrive Hermit is stronger than Wise right now, showing her ability to kill her. Well, she has Overdrive and Battle Dress equipped, right? I mean, that makes sense. I think that makes sense. But plus, like, when you think about it as well, Like, I personally think if Wise wasn't distracted with, like, this mob stuff, I think he would have won. So it's like, that's kind of like an M1 for me. Just because I feel like I said, like, if it wasn't for the mother thing with Wise's mom, then he would have been fine in that match. Versus, like, Rebecca, who actually, like, straight lost. When it comes to Hermit, though, is like, Hermit was fighting somebody with generally the same type of abilities, but she's more experienced and seems just smarter with it. Okay, so let's get to the oh wait, no. I got a couple more comments before I keep going. Quan has the funniest takes when it comes to debating its fairy tale characters. Quan like downplays stuff so much and it bothers me, but I mean, like, it's just Quan. He downplays a lot of stuff. But he'll like ignore stuff on panel. And it, like, I got so annoyed when he was like talking to Faith and he was mad that Faith was like ignoring something and Seven Deadly Sins on panel, but then he's like looks at like stuff like Zareth saying like he's, you know, manipulating time itself, he's accessing time itself, not just burning time itself, and he's just like, that's time magic. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who would you like, the VAs or the Dragon Gods? I don't really know because I don't. It's not like I know like a million voice actors. I can't say. Alderaan though should be Dan Green. Incredible. Legit doesn't remember half the fairy tale he supposedly read. Quan's not mid, but I definitely agree on the rest of that take. He thinks he's actually strong. Wait, you think Kieran's actually strong in Suzaku, and if so, by how much you think? I mean, I think he is stronger, but I think it's only like a couple split like hairs. Like if it came down to it, like say Suzaku's a 99 and Kieran's 100. I think to me that's like a general kind of like where I would go. Why do people want Buggy to become a new Yonko? I mean, it's just because it's funny that Buggy just seems to be like guy who's like right place, right time, and rumors and reputation just always seem to kind of work out in his general favor. I get it though, because it is kind of funny. It's kind of like what's his name, King from One Punch Man, where it's like he's not actually strong or doesn't anything. It just seems like luck just seems to always come out for him, which I get. I don't really want Buggy to be a Yonko though, because I feel like Yonko should be like an actual serious title, like based on power and stuff. But I mean, like if he somehow just keeps getting lucky and like defeating the Marines and like growing his territory and stuff, I understand why they would make him a Yonko. I think it would make sense from their perspective if they thought that he like did all these things like actually and not just like happenstance, that it, you know, giving him the title would make sense. I feel like though that it wouldn't, like whatever reason that he would be a Yonko though, they would have to give like some monumental reason for like why he's pushed up. Like you can't just be like, oh, he fought back some Marines and he's expanded his territory. There has to be something really big. Like when it's like Luffy only started to get like, I'm trying to think, was it before or after Whole Cake Island that Luffy was starting to get recognized as a Yonko? Because obviously he beat Doflamingo, and that's like what, Warlord 3 that he's beaten? Because he beat Croc, he beat Moria, he beat Doflamingo, and he messed with Big Mom and stuff later. But like him being like a full Yonko definitely now obviously sits really well. And it's like there's a lot more stuff to it, but you know what I mean. But yeah, let me where's monsters, vampire, ghoul, etc. Farm humans for food. I mean, you're asking for it, man. You're asking for it. You gotta be careful. Is someone be trained by a dragon? Whoa. I mean, I assume. My question with that would be like, did the chick turn into, or the dragon turn into a person, or is it like a magical insemination? Or like, how did that work? I think Mia does kiss Lucy to piss off Natsu. How do you think it would affect Natsu and Lucy's relationship? I mean, I think it'd be perfectly fine, because like it's not like Lucy would do it out of her own will, and it's like I don't think Natsu would like hold it against her. I don't think it would make sense for him to be like mad at her about it. So you read sound interesting, give it a try sometimes. Oh, the Alien series, it's pretty neat so far. I like it. I like the premise. I like the character designs. I like how it kind of like set up so far. I think the second chapter did a good service to make it a little bit more intriguing. Do you feel the same way about Shigaraki and the war? Because yeah, Shigaraki's decay is like power. Like I don't like it when they have like something that's so broken where it can end it in one move, but the main character doesn't have a way around it. I don't like that, because then it's like, well, why have it if they're going to, if they're pretty much not gonna get hit? Because like the only other way is like what, like Deku gets hit by decay and like has to cut off his arm or something, or cut off a leg. if that happened, I'd be kind of okay with it. Like if he got like some cool like mechanical arm or something, or like imagine if like Deku lost an arm and then they said like, oh yada yada, like we made you a special arm out of like kind of like how Marvel and stuff have their own unique metals, and I know like so does like DC and stuff, but it's like obviously easier. Like I feel like it's infinitely easier to use Marvel with like the MCU and stuff. But like have something like, oh, a fictional metal, we made you an arm, and it's like there's only so much of this on the planet, and like we were only hope, so we used like a majority of it to make you this arm. And Decay doesn't work on it for some reason, for whatever fictional reason. Like maybe quirks don't work on it, and have him have that, so it's like he has a defense or something against it. I don't know. Like I'm just kind of like throwing ideas, but you know what I mean. Some way to contend with it. Because if there's no way for them to contend with the power, then they're never going to get hit by it. And then you just know that power is just going to kind of be there for cool hacks, I guess, killing fodder, but never really doing anything substantial like to the actual main character. Kubo did great with Yuhabak, showed limitations many times. Also, like, the thing about it is, like, there were definitely limitations and stuff. A lot of people who write Bleach don't pay attention to that. Like, I don't think a lot of them even know how the Almighty work. Like, they seem to think it's like some passive thing that automatically works no matter what, and it's like he has to focus and use his ability. Like, it's not infinite. But also, like, the problem wasn't his initial setup, is he had no real way around it. There were ways that he had set, but we didn't he didn't utilize them. Like, we have the sword that Nanao had from her family that can reflect god powers and send it back at him, so that's something that could have been in there. Didn't get used. We know that stuff from the Soul King is able to pretty much avoid the Almighty, but there's also the fact that Fullbringers, because of their connection with the Soul King from like Nails of the Soul King and stuff, that there are degrees that can affect and avoid the Almighty, like Tsukishima and Orihime's powers. Like there were ways that Kubo could have went about it, but he just had the Still Silver Arrow, and I was just like, like that. I felt like that was Kubo gives enemy OP powers that doesn't know how to give him an ending without the fans complaining. I don't think that the stuff with Aizen, like the Mugetsu and stuff, I don't think that was a problem in the same way. Because I think the way that it works with Zanpakuto, it was like an evolution that I think really worked with like the designs and concepts. Even though it was kind of like out of nowhere, it was something that built into the series versus like the Still Silver Arrow just kind of for the most part not fully out of nowhere, like it was built off of like the Auschwald and how it works and stuff, but it was in a way that kind of felt out of nowhere for the most part, and I was not a fan of it. I was not a big fan of how the Still Silver Arrow was. That was to me like one of the more upsetting parts about near the end of Bleach. And I'm hoping that, my hopes is like with the anime, maybe they build more upon it if they're going to kind of keep the same ending and kind of just have more foreshadowing and build up to it. How did Kirin the Thunder Dragon, oh crap, what happened here? Oh, Nerd deleted a bunch of his comments. I can't read that now. What did it say though? How did Kirin the Thunder Dragon yet miss the heart, which I've obtained? Well, we don't know. My guess is that Georg took it and sold it. Like, it makes a lot of sense for Georg just to sell it. Like, it's an extra, and like unless like something happened, like the maybe like there was a huge collapse and maybe like the body went underground, or some kind of like event that buried it or some shit. But I feel like Georg sold it. I feel like it makes sense for Georg to sell it and then like help fund all his stuff. Killer still didn't use the battle dress and combo. He's probably next try. There's no way. I feel like Killer's done. Like Hermit ran over him. I think he's done. And like after his win on Wise, even though it was like a underhanded win, I still feel like that's a good way for his character to get a send off. Like with the not a full W, but a W that makes sense, obviously, for his character. Because he didn't win in a straight fight, but it's like he's not a character that has to win in a straight fight. He's underhanded, so like that makes sense for him to do that. Here's the thing: does it become a well-written character like Zeref? What about a better villain exclusively? I mean, he doesn't have to be Zeref. Like, he can just be a good villain. Like, a character like Zeref, I think, is hard to top. Like, there's only a couple, like, antagonists I would put in that full, like, tip of the top. Zareth Griffith, Sato Johan, like people who are just immaculately designed, written, like their influence in the series, like their viewpoints. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and that does a lot. I do like that Ziggy has a little bit kind of like the, Lucia and Zareth both had it to a degree. Obviously, Zareth's I think made Zareth's if you compare it. We can't use Ziggy's yet because we don't know it. Ziggy's is probably gonna kind of have a little bit of a similar nature where it's like he's doing a bad guy thing ultimately, but from his perspective, he's a hero and probably trying to do what he views as the right thing. So it's like there's a little bit of morality and there's a little bit of gray area. Where it's like Zareth, like for a lot of people, you can argue was going to do the right thing, was going to do something really heroic, because like he would have fixed a lot of problems that have occurred over the centuries if he went through with it. Versus like Lucia, who was just trying to return everything pretty much to the dust and whatever Ziggy's plan is. But I think Ziggy will be fine. What do you think about Kenjaku? I think he's cool. I mean, I don't have a large scale problem. Well, I don't have a problem with him. I don't. Right now, though, I don't have a ton of investment in him just because, like, right now he's kind of doing the, sit in the back bad guy thing. But I mean, we're getting a flashback with Kishima, which I like. And I think that Kenjaku has a lot of potential. I think he's done pretty good so far. He's had a lot of the mastermind build-up. What I would really like from him before we get into like the final, like full final stages, because I know we're already near the ending areas of Jujutsu Kaisen. We're like in the, I think it's like like a year or two left or something, but I would really like him to have just a villain show off moment, like not the final battle, but say like there's a kind of like Aizen versus the Captains, something like that, where it's just a bunch of characters that they don't have to be as important, but characters who are potentially expendable but still are strong enough that we recognize them, versus Kenjaku, where it just shows like his level of power. Like we got a good glimpse near the end of Shibuya, but you know what I mean, like I want to get something more substantial, more of just like him really going off and just like showing what he can really do. Looking at the new Dragon Ball movie, I guess I'll start reading Bleach. Man, the new Dragon Ball movie, I hate all the recolors. They make me so mad. But anyway, let me get to the chapter real quick, and we'll go into what's going on Undead Unluck. Figure out what's going on with this chapter. Let me see. I completely figured out electric currents. I have used science to conquer God's rule. Science is a war against God. To a degree, you can definitely think of it like that. I kind of get that. Okay, this is a flashback. Oh, some guy named Bao, behold, I'm one step closer to tightening the noose around God's neck. I mean, by doing what? Like building an electric cage? The Uma black hole has been added. We haven't the faintest idea about what changes this new rule bring. Could you imagine a scientist in this world, and it's like every single time you're about to get something like some weird new phenomenon in reality kind of takes place and you have to deal with it? That would probably piss me off. Sounds like he's just mad. I don't know, see what other new rule that he can't comfort added. He reacts like this. I assume so. Like I said, I feel like that would just piss me off if I was like a scientist constantly trying to figure all this stuff. And pretty much the dude just like, God just throws in another curveball and just says, well, there you go. Figure this one out. See ya. And just likes to mess with you like that. Additions make things interesting. But I mean, also at the same time though, I think that something like Mayuri, I think would love that because it would constantly just add new stuff to research and look into. Because like his whole thing, obviously, like I think his whole thing about scientists, like never wanting really to get perfection, and there always needing to be something that they research, investigate, do experiments on and into. I think that's like the most scientist kind of like thing. Because like achieving perfection is like cool. But then it's like, then what? You've killed the whole passion if you like pretty much achieve everything, or like figure out everything. Let me see. Okay, they're getting a member. Okay, this is when Nico met the chick who became his wife. Ichiko Namuri says, "I'm gonna get her unsleep so she doesn't sleep." Remember the round table and the laboratory. That's a great power. Oh my god, I wish I had that. If I never had to sleep and I can just freaking be awake at all times with like the same energy, that'd be great, because then you could just like imagine all the time that you'd be able to kind of get back. I'm always wired and wide awake. Yes, that would be so cool. Like sleep is cool, but it's like imagine if you like didn't have to sleep and you never had that tired feeling. Like if you never felt like you had to sleep. Like I imagine not being able to sleep but you get sleepy and tired would suck dick. But if you just were always wide awake, I'd be hyped. Like, if I was how I am right now, like, literally just, awake, talking, doing stuff, that'd be great. Like, you'd be able to, like, you could, like, literally work all day and then just kind of do shit at night. And, it's like, okay, cool, like, 8 or 9 hours, like, for whatever I want. That'd be perfect. You'd be able to accomplish so much more stuff. You'd be able to, like, learn so many more things and just experience so many more things. That's, like, one of my favorite ideas for, like, a power that, like, because, like, I used to ask people all the time, like, if you could have a power that was, you could have any power, but it can't be good enough to be a superhero. Something like no sleep would be like that for me. Like, I can't fight people, like, unless, like, I wait for the enemies all to take a nap or something. Or, like, I guess, like, you threw in all, sleep canisters or something. But for the most part, obviously, if you're wide awake, like, where's the problem gonna be? This is how you dress yourself. Dude, she's hot. Like, she's got, like, I like her messier. So she's smoking, though, so she probably smells like cigarettes, which is definitely a turn off. But I mean, like, she's stacked, and she's got the cleavage with the tie through it. Like, she's definitely got some style to her. She looks cool. She probably doesn't really give a shit, which is probably extra cool. But he says cover up cover up those unsightly mounds of flesh, and she just says no. Good, don't take his shit. There's not a single unsightly body or an unsightly area on my body. I mean, that's true. The hair too. If you're a scientist, then trim it. It'll get in the way of work. She said that's the last thing I'd sign off on. Yeah, don't take his shit. So this is probably like one of those ones where like they just had like banter and like back and forth that eventually developed into something. But I mean, like, if you're a scientist and you have like somebody directly there that can pretty much never sleep and always be working, that's perfect. Let's make the rules around here. Can it with the back talk? God, I can't read right now. Yeah, it's just that of like general talking right now between them, back and forth, kind of just like the banter you'd expect. I'm just saying that, like, let's see. I wasn't sure how she pan out for a while there. There's like a chart. Oh yeah, okay. It's like showing like research or something, showing like his versus hers and like everybody else's. Yeah, I would immediately like assume like she's gonna climb the ladder, the ranks, just because of the fact like she doesn't need to sleep, so she's got all day to do stuff. Of course, she's gonna just kind of run numbers. It's basically Chico only arrived a month ago and she's already surpassed Dr. Nico in number of inventions. I mean, yeah, she's fucking killing it. She's a tad rough around the edges, but she's so that would like imagine like that's your competition. It's your competition can work all day, like really only like probably stop for like eat and use the bathroom. That's pretty much it. She's been doing joint research with Mr. Nico. He may have talent, but none of us could ever be that mad about science. I mean, they're like the crazy scientists. But I mean, like if you're a scientist that doesn't have to sleep, like I imagine dedication is like much easier. Using my black metal for the conductor. I've used this string technology and apply. What are they inventing? Is that maybe I think that's the ball they're making for Tatiana. Is my guess. Let's see. You hate God adding rules, don't you? I wouldn't be that mad though if I was a scientist because like that's just new stuff about science. Maybe that's gonna be her thing that she talks about. The world keeps getting updated under our noses. Scientists and God are playing a constant game of cat and mouse. On everything in the world. See, he's got kind of like that whole thing. He wants to get everything, but she's just like, why? Learning everything there is to know isn't science. Learning about what you don't know, that's science. See, yeah, I understand her. So that's probably like one of the things that really kind of caught his attention is like she's got more of that. He's got more of that completionist mindset where she's got more of a like, I want to just keep learning, keep doing stuff. Probably get bored too if like you're awake all day and you get into a spot where you find like you have nothing to do. Well, she got bags under her eyes? Does she? I thought she was always awake. Oh no, is her thing going to be like she's actually tired? That would suck. Let's see. The bags under her eyes though are huge. On the bright side, she's still been citing us ideas. And we're throwing her a birthday party. Man, if her power is not like the perfect kind of like no sleep and it's actually one that makes her tired, that would suck. I celebrate Ichiko's birthday and work ethic. Commence with the gift giving. Pretty good. The only thing right about Nico that I'm kind of like, I'm not fond of, like I like his backstory and his design stuff. One thing I will say is like, I can't remember because the one girl was I can't remember if she's like his actual daughter or kind of like an adopted daughter. Because I will say, like, if that's his actual daughter and he's like not willing to save the timeline they're in, I get why he would want his wife back. But it's like you definitely should be like trying to save your kid more so, because I'm sure that's what your wife would want. Because I don't know. I feel like he'd probably get scolded for like trying to pretty much save her and not like stick with their kid. If so, she'd probably be pretty pissed off about that. I would assume. Very special drink, super fatigue recovering effects. Oh, she's just getting picked on. Is it conveniently that you came out of your room, that you've been depressed? Must not have been depressed after all. She's just like upset. And they're like beating up on her. I mean, like, I assume so. She seems like she's really nice. Why did he get her an electric chair? Is it like the zapper? Is he gonna help her sleep or something? I see. Actually, saying a lot of events, but this is the dullest. I bet it's like something that helps her sleep. Usually doesn't have bags under her eyes. Ace electric current for her brain to misinterpret the coordinates of her bangs. What? Misinterpret the coordinates of her bangs. I couldn't get rid of them, but at least now they think of them as eyeshadow. What the fuck does that mean? What? Hang on. Force her brain to misinterpret the coordinates of her bangs. So, like, her bags under her eyes instead go above her. What the fuck? I was like, oh, maybe he found a cheat to, like, help her kind of pseudo-sleep or something. Oh, is it like she doesn't get tired, but she still gets the bags? But she, like, fell over at one point. I'm kind of confused of how this works. Hang on, did I miss something? I don't see anything. Maybe it's just that. It's just, like, where her bangs were. Or where her bags were for her eyes. They're just beating up on people now. Oh, it's just like Nico's not using his power, obviously making the copies. Since this isn't about everything. He's just talking now. He's just mad at Andy. Oh, this is cool. What's this? That's why I've decided to accept. It means medium one, so I'll accept this new rule, Ghost. So like Ghost is gonna come help him? Like what is going on now? This is a weird twist. I didn't think like he was gonna get some outside source like of aid, because I don't think like it wasn't his power like making the copies. Wasn't that one of his technology things and not Ghost? Because who are the people that are attacking Gina? No, because I was thinking like, oh, are they dead people or something? But it's like no, you had Juiz and I forgot his name. The dude who's is it Unstoppable? No, that's crap. What is his Unmove? I think. Chica or whatever. I like the ending. I thought the ending was pretty neat. I like obviously the panel. Andy's got to get past this guy. This must be I would assume his last opponent before he gets to the arc and starts like actually getting ready to kind of move on and get to the next part. I know he wants Ismo to be in it, which is gonna obviously be a little difficult now. But it's like how is he gonna move along to this next part? Unless bringing Ghost is gonna be part of the plan. Ryuko versus Team Natsu. I don't know who Ryuko is. Like from Kill la Kill. Okay, let me scroll up and see some of the comments. Where was I? I'll read up on the. I'll pretty much catch up on everything, and then I'll continue. I got 3 more chapters. And just real quick, just because I haven't really shilled yet. You know, if you haven't, if you want to thumbs up the stream, befriend, like, and subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you feel like super chatting $1 or whatever, I'd rather you join I personally, I'd rather you join the channel. As a member, only $1 a month or $2 a month, get voting rights and extra perks. I'm still adding extra perks. I've been trying to get more badges and emotes, but I haven't been able to I've been busy, so I haven't been able to get around to it. But I gotta add some. I still have like just the one Natsu emote right now, and I haven't been able to figure out also like for the badges when I wanted to do extra. I was thinking about eventually adding something like an Ichiya face as like another funny one, but I want to have like a cool one before I get to another funny one. Just because, like, even though Ichiya is goofy, I do enjoy Ichiya. You watching season 3 of The Boys? Yes, I am a huge fan of watching Homelander slowly, like, lose his mind. I love watching characters just go crazy like that. That was one of my favorite things about Joker. And there's another movie I'd recommend called Septic Man, where it's like you get a similar premise. Not similar premise, but like a similar core design where it's like you're just watching this dude slowly fucking lose his mind. And it's awesome. Like, those are some of my favorites. We see Six-Eyed Gojo leader versus Zenin Shadow user back in the day. That'd be pretty cool, but isn't that further back than what we saw in this flashback? Or is this like the time period? I think Black Clover antagonists as a whole are mid. I don't think they're mid. I think they're alright, but it's like we don't have a lot of like crazy villains. Like we got crazy villains, but we don't have a lot that like kind of stand up too much. I think if Xenon's cool, but like I think Xenon was like way too contained in like his part of the story, because like all of his stuff that we found out that like made us really enjoy him is in the same general area where he dies, and he doesn't have a ton of like stuff beforehand to really go off of, like Ulquiorra or somebody. Ulquiorra's was as much like as many fight stuff, but we had lots of like dialogue scenes and like really nice kind of interactions with Orihime and stuff. So I'm hoping like the whole idea of like Lucius wanting to revive them, like give the whole immortal bodies thing will happen, because that way we can have Xenon back, and Xenon's character will only improve from there and get better. When Iggy's character was introduced and his plan to fight Natsu, did you think Lucy's possibly caught up with the rival between Natsu? I mean, the thing is, like, Ignia is perfectly fine messing with anybody in the main cast if it means getting Natsu riled up. And I said before, the second he realizes Lucy is the quickest trigger, he's gonna go for her. Whether he has to, do something like Lucia and like force kiss her, or if he has to be aggressive and actually hurt her, he'll do it. Blackbeard from One Piece, don't sleep so, or act to the teacher. No, I do like Blackbeard, that's a fact. Kiryu way above. I don't think he's way above Suzaku. I just think he's stronger than Suzaku. Well, he is. We know that. Guy mansplainer pisses me off. What are you talking about? I also think it's cool that Hermit thinks wise for W, because it was thinks his fight that killer that she knew how killer fights. Yeah, that's true too. It's like she had no, we're still here, Sabo. What's up? We're just reading through some of the Shonen Jump chapters. Science Loki cringe. Imagine Natsu drops sprites to get a lab coat. I mean, Natsu's not a scientist, and it's slightly better plastic for $17 an hour. $17 an hour is pretty fair. I mean, if you're a scientist, though, I guess like it depends. Like, if you're like some top secret government scientist or something, $17 an hour is pretty ass. But versus like, I don't know, where would it be? I guess working at like a pharmacy, like you just work at like a Walgreens or something in the back, you handling prescription. $17 an hour probably pretty good. Grand guys aren't useless. We just need them to have their spotlight. We need to see like Scully and Madden will need to get up, not just for them, but for Gray and Gajul too. He sold his soul to Ghost. Man, poor dude. I mean, I get it, but I mean, he's kind of screwed on that one. Do you think Julius's personality will ever resurface? I hope not, because I don't think it was like a soul thing. I think it was like a fake personality he made, so I think it's gone. What's up, Urza? How's it going? Homelander only Chad surrounded by bitchy women. Low testosterone men. I don't think that. I mean, I like the female characters for the most part, and like Huey like standing up to him last episode. I was like, Huey, what are you doing? Like, I respect it, but dude, fucking be careful. I like a lot of the characters, but I mean, like watching Homelander just be like slowly more and more unhinged is just so enjoyable. I love watching every time where it's just like you can tell a couple more little gears are starting to grind up, and there's like more of those strings of being controlled are starting to get cut. Jujutsu Kaisen becoming Hunter x Hunter. I like Jujutsu Kaisen a lot more. I think Jujutsu Kaisen is a lot more entertaining. I don't like for example, I don't like the weird gambling nature of Hikari's the main expansions, because it's like that's weird. Like if you don't, it'd be weird to fight against it and to really kind of deal with it. That would suck. But the thing about it, I like the after effects, and I like how it's like he has like I think it's Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson as like his theme song that plays when he gets his invincibility and he fights. I think that's funny, and it's also creative. Like the 4 minutes 11 seconds, I like that it's like, okay, now like reading it, just like imagine this is playing, and I think that's just kind of funny, and it's got its own like little unique tone to it. Imagine Josuke Broku Quan show up to beat my ass. I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, I can't fight Fred, so I'm just gonna stand there, I guess. I don't think they'd want to fight me. I'm pretty nice. It's hard to fight me when I'm giving compliments and I'm in a good mood. Kaido down from the lava would be ass. Sabo Kaido is ass. Kaido in the mud. The better One Piece villain Blackbeard is on his way. Fino's just vibing in the Eden spa in the next chapter. He just seems to not really care. This is just proving my clown, I think, is the better of the four. Okay, so let me get to the chapter. I got 3 more chapters to read. I'm saving Mashle for last. Mission Years of Core. I like Mission Years of Core, but like every time it's like a chapter that's like way too like slice of life when nothing's going on, I get so agitated. It's because like we'll have like a really serious stuff, and then it's like a chapter where it's like they're hanging out at home and they're doing spring cleaning. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, right between some of like the craziest parts of the story to have like a super slice of life chapter, I'm just like, no, let's get to I want the serious stuff. I want to see where this is going. Now they're fighting this weird flower monster, which is pretty neat. Okay, it looks like they're getting ready to figure out how to fight this guy. Figuring out what they're gonna do. Let's see, they're just kind of doing rock, paper, scissors. It says you throw rock first 99% of the time. So that's a fool. You throw scissors. Scissors is the best one. I mean, okay, they're just now arguing like who can take this thing down. You know what this is? Like it's a weird Samanim freaking beast. Okay, it looks like Futaba is pretty fine, just kind of redirecting it, doing her whole thing. I hope that it's not. I hope this thing doesn't get ran over too fast. I'm hoping this is like a mid-tier fight for like whoever gets involved. Like if all of them are in, like they got out of it damaged and with some effort, but not enough that it seems like this was like a huge deal for them. Like it's just like, oh well, this was an afternoon kind of thing. This was something that like maybe they have to use some of their blooming on, like drop blooming, and that's like the extent essentially of what they had to do. It's like them as a group, they're getting pressed a little bit, they do blooming, and then it's like, oh yeah, now it's no problem. I think that would be pretty cool. That'd probably be a better set for this whole kind of like general setup, at least in my opinion. We'll see. I don't think that they're gonna no diff it though. I don't want that. Okay, and it can heal itself, which is good. Obviously, it's gonna be more troublesome that they are letting on. All these twigs focus from the ground. There's no end to them. They're just kind of fighting off random melee attacks. Whoever just wants to, will risk more, using more energy than optimal. Getting stabbed up, and now is like getting kind of like poked in the shoulder. He says he's fine. Obviously, he can heal, so that makes sense for him to be the one that's. So it's like it's weird that he's the one that's damaged, but it's like in reality he's like what, like 8 or something. There's also some sounds absorb a bit of my summoning. It's probably gonna get more powerful then. I assume it's gonna get stronger. Little Signer saw a huge jump when it hit it out. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. So it's gonna be able to grow stronger as it's fighting them. So it's gonna probably like start to transform. Absorbs nutrients to its roots, like a real plant. While annoying, it's easy to plant against. I mean, yeah, but it means like anytime it hits any of you guys, it's gonna get stronger. So it's like you guys gotta figure out how to take it out before it just becomes a battle of attrition. Like stacking attrition, essentially. Track the nexus. I saw the concentration moving around inside its body. It's got a core, but is it moving? It must be its core, so it's gross, but store its energy. So it's got a core, but it looks like it's moving the core around, which is good. So it's not like one spot. Really detective at my tracking, but deliberately letting it absorb some now volatile. So, one thing I should really, let me scroll back real quick. Shion just in the fight. Why? Like she should be like off on the side, like viewing stuff from a drone. Like her directly in the heat of battle is just like that's a dangerous move because she has like no real combat stuff. She's like all a computer and analysis person. Now it can't regenerate. A plant lost its roots can only wither and die. I doubt that. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I'll be really surprised if they beat it in this chapter, just because like if they're already gonna take this thing out. Okay, they did some big attack on it. I doubt it's done. Let's see. Where are Taiyo and Kyotaro now? 5 kilometers southwest. They're still chasing Dad. It'll be weird if it's like if they just beat this already, because it's like, are there going to be lots of these things? And it's like, is that going to be the threat? Is numbers, or is it going to come back even stronger? I'm going to be really surprised if they beat it already, because it's like, this thing is what? It was just a distraction then? That'd be unfortunate, because it looked cool. I like that it like can kind of grow mid-battle and obviously adapt and advance. His dad's just like talking about like playing tag and like having fun with them. But he's just being a weirdo. Tell me your fist will reach him. He's just trying, like, Kyoto's just trying to help him with Taiyo, trying to figure out what they're gonna do. Shoots him over, punches him. This is an alright chapter. I mean, this, like, my thing is like I like the idea of the weird salmon implant thing, but if it's beaten already, it's just like, well, what? That's not even a threat if it's like it just takes them kind of together and they can no diff it for the most part. Like if it's like suddenly 10 of them, I could see it, obviously be more of a threat because then it's a numbers game versus like something that evolves and adapts. So we'll see. This chapter seemed to be more of a setup because like I don't think their dad is defeated whatsoever. I mean, I don't even think he's really inconvenienced. He just got punched. He's probably fine. And with the other team, if they don't have something to distract them, they're gonna get over here pretty fast. Yeah, that chapter was fine. Nothing crazy. I thought it was alright this week. I thought the art was good. My only thing right now is, like, I really wish that the characters would have... Like, I want there to be more of a threat to them. I want there to be something that actually is, like, a threat to them as adversaries. Because, like, outside of Tayo, like, none of them really face that much of, like, opponent-wide danger. Kind of was hyped up, and now, this is how he dies. I think he's either dead or he's pretty much just done. Like, who cares? Killer got more bodies than Kaido. The thing is, like, when people get mad at when you mention bodies, like, it's like, well, a character doesn't have to kill somebody to be good. It's like, no, but if a character does, if a villain just completely doesn't shut up about killing and death and how they're gonna kill their opponents and stuff, and they take no bodies, it just makes them look dumb. It just makes them look like an idiot. Like, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, kill the main cast, or it's like, just kill anybody. Just show that you're serious about what you have to say. Like, you're actually going to go through with it. Don't just freaking say a bunch of stuff about, like, finishing off these people and then not do any of that whatsoever. Just as rare as just acting will be lit. Is that next week, or is that just you saying an idea? Because that's kind of cool. Lucy does get kissed by Ignia. Do you think her reaction would be... I don't think she would be as upset as Ellie, but I think she'd be pretty shocked and disliked of it. I don't think... Like, I feel like she would slap Ignia. I feel like Lucy's that kind of chick. I feel like she'd be a little bit... She'd be, like, shaken by it, but mad. Whereas, I don't think that she's going to be like Ellie, where Ellie was just way more shocked, and it was way more kind of, like, hurt with her. I mean, for how much would you realistically change fairy tale good peeps and the cruel sadistic people? Like, I'm not going to turn them all into sadistic people. It's crazy. Where's your family trying to sign to save the daughter? I mean, yeah, that's, like, their whole thing right now. Yeah, it's ironic that Justice, like, Jalal is going to fight Akluga homage. I don't even know how much Aknoella is really even in that homage to Aknologia. I think it's more to Irene, at least in just general kind of setup. This is a great way to hide the chapter. How do you, have you thought about this? Well, it's a picture of Celine, and she's got the moon in the background, but I just cropped out the window and then just rendered it so I can put the panel in the back. Muzan is mid, but at least he was a threat and killed Ashira, unlike Kaido. I mean, that's true, but factually, I would say that Kaido is absurdly better than Muzan. Muzan caught bodies, true. Muzan absolutely caught some bodies. He ended some people, but Muzan was an idiot. Muzan was so stupid it wasn't even funny. Like, he had all the time to leave. He had so many opportunities to get away, and he just kept being stupid. And he kept just letting them waste his time and distract him. And then in the end, he had some plan with Tanjiro that went nowhere. Like, the ending to Demon Slayer is so upsetting to me because it was literally up until the Muzan fight. I'm like, this is a pretty fun series. Sweet. It's kind of like how I feel about Mashle, where it's like, I don't love it, but it's, well, I like Mashle more than Demon Slayer. That's a fact. But it's like, I enjoy it at, like, pretty much every week. I enjoyed Demon Slayer pretty much every week until we got to, like, some of the Muzan stuff. To where it's like, Muzan was just so... He just didn't even come close to stuff like Kokushibo or Akaza or Doma or... Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. What was the Upper Moon 6's name? I know it's like, it's going to be one of those ones where it's like, easy to see or easy to know if I just looked at some of the letters. Like, oh, because I remember his name being pretty easy to memorize because it had I think it's like what it was something Maru, and I think that's one of like the regular Japanese names like for males, like something Maru. I think I could be wrong. What's your thoughts on the Dragon Ball Super movie spoilers? Man, I don't care. Like, I'm so annoyed they're just doing more recolors and bringing back old villains. Like, I just wish they would be more creative. Like, GT, I'm serious when I think if GT had Super's level of animation, people would love GT. Because like I don't think GT's problem really was like the writing, because it's not like Dragon Ball is some paragon of writing. It's like obviously known for like stuff like action and battles and like, you know, cool scenes with Goku and whatnot. And if they did GT with Super's animation, I think people would like it more than Super. And it's more creative. I think the villains are better. There's like more world building and exploration. When like even though like Goku gets put as a kid again, it goes back to some of its Dragon Ball roots, which I like, and then it works back into, you know, crazy power levels, energy beams, and, you know, people destroying planets and universes and whatnot. Kaido's been killing people since he's introduced. White slave whole country. Be mad at Oda, not Kaido. It took 3 kills for him. It's kind of weird. Motherfuckers care about how much about love Madara. The thing is like that Sabo is it's not like the past, because obviously like killing characters in flashbacks is different than killing them in real time. But it's because he just kept talking about killing and death, and then he never took like anybody. Like Orochi like got back up. Kinemon got back up. Luffy got back up. Like the dude doesn't finish people off, and that's part of like a huge issue. Is like he just never seems to like see stuff through. And like as a villain, if you're just continuously letting this stuff go by, why? Like that's to me like a big thing I would have with Kaido, is just like I get like the first time he beat Luffy and even the second time, but it's like after like the third time, like how do you not think like I should finish this guy off or he's gonna come back again? Like especially I think after the second time he should have just been like, yeah, I'm just gonna kill him. I'm gonna take his head. Like just chop it off. Gyotaro, that's what it was. Taro, not Maru. But yeah, he's cool. I like him. So there's a Sabo now talking to Nur. There's arguing about like Madara. Madara's cool, but like Madara's thing wasn't that Madara like took bodies. It's like the second Madara stepped out, he was just fucking bitch slapping everybody. Like if we had like say like the war, like Kaido showed up at the very end, like you had all the fights. Like this is what like would be the equivalent for Madara. You have all the fights happen. For whatever reason Kaido is not involved. And then it's like Luffy, everybody pretty much within the raid is for the most part ready. Maybe because like Luffy would need to obviously be like pretty much fresh going into it. But like everybody else like is like, you know, either, you know, somewhat damaged but still able to fight. And then you have all of them kind of like go on Kaido, kind of like the when all the scabbards rushed him, and it's just like him swatting everybody and just completely clubbing him down to where it's like nobody is even coming close. You know, it's because like Madara, everybody was trying against Madara, and Madara was just showing what a legend was capable of against these guys. And even when people like the Kage were showing up, he was just saying nope, just fucking swatting them like it's nothing. And then that's obviously like when Naruto and Sasuke showed up. And if it was a similar thing with Kaido and that, I don't think people would really care. But it's like, for the most part, Kaido is just kind of fighting people, like a handful of people fodder to him, and then not finishing the job, and then not really kind of like following through with anything. Like he was like beating up the scabbards, but it's like, who cares about the scabbards? Like he needed people more like not Zoro, but you know what I mean, kind of like that area of like where Killer and Zoro are, where like they're not like the big main people of their crew, but they're like, you know, they're the right hands. They're just, you know, the pretty much the next best thing you're gonna get to fighting the strongest person in the group. You know, the number 2. There should have been more on that. I feel like if Big Mom wasn't in this arc, something like that could have been accomplished, and like I think Kaido could have been handled a lot better if we didn't have all this stupid Big Mom stuff. And then like, cause like Oda, like I don't think anything that Big Mom did in this arc improved upon her at all. It was more of just she was here as another threat. And I think it would have been better to kind of like take all that time and put it on Kaido and do more with Kaido. That's just my personal opinion, though. So he's stronger than Ignia? I mean, we don't know that at all. Like, as far as we know, like, Ignia logically, I'd say is going to be the strongest. But right now, I mean, as far as we know, they're all equal except for Doggermag. Talk about Orochi Rex. Are you reading The Gate of Nightmares? Not yet. Oh, on stream? Yeah, I'll do it on stream. Like, as long as this format right here doesn't get me struck for copyright, I'll do it. Because I can do that with that, the other series I really want to start reading is Dandan, and I want to get to Gashi Akuda and probably do reviews on that. is I found a new editing program, but I just haven't really used it yet because I haven't had the time. I should soon. I'm hoping to get back on my normal content grind within the next 2 weeks. That's kind of like where my aim is. Like, I'm trying to stream more until then. And, like, maybe, like, I was thinking about streaming more. Probably, like, a little less than I'm doing right now, where it's, like, every other day for the most part. Not literally every day, but, you know, like, whatever, 3, sometimes 4 a week. And trying to balance, like, the streams and content. Like, I'm really hoping I can get more members so I can kind of focus more on like, you know, the quality versus quantity with some of the stuff. Because I like some of the videos, but, like, I want to do more where, like, I put more time in it to the where they come out, you know, looking nicer, and I can, you know, like, kind of count more into, like, okay, well, I'm going to still be able to, you know, cover up whatever area because of, like, membership. Because, like, just because of YouTube's payment system sucks. Like, it's, like, since, like, what, the 2 or 3 adpocalypses, like, revenue on YouTube has gone down so much. Like, they really shaft the creators to where, like, if you don't have something like Patreon, where you're getting super chats, where you have channel members and stuff, you're really not making that much. Like, I have to bust out stuff to just barely break that $100 a month if, like, I want to get a monthly check, because you don't get it sent to you unless you get at least 100 per month. But obviously, like, if I can get, like, channels and stuff, or channel member stuff, like, that'll just kind of, like, build on a backboard, so I can kind of put out a little less but make them nicer. And the stuff from, like, streams and memberships will be able to cover that. Because like I said, I really want to put out nicer stuff, but I obviously, like, I have to kind of meet certain criteria for, like, the YouTube whole setup to work. Otherwise, I'm just getting shafted every month. You know, if I'm putting out a couple videos that, like, I put more time in, but they don't turn out as good, like, obviously, like, view or revenue-wise, and it's just, like, you know, I could have spent this time putting out, like, whatever, 10 reviews and a reaction or something, and gotten way more success. Like, I want to find a good spot where it's, like, good content, but also, like, where it's good for my channel. Like, I try and avoid stuff where it's just, like, playing the algorithm, because I don't want to have, like, I don't really like clickbait thumbnails. Like, I'm fine with clickbait every once in a while and stuff, but, like, I just don't want to make it seem like I'm trying too hard to bait people into making it, and kind of, like, getting my channel to fall under those algorithms pretty much. First New Gen villain goes, the Dark Stars and Upper Moons are two of my favorites. You know, pretty good. They're pretty alright. I think Natsu will get E&D full power. I mean, I think Ignia is going to be the cause of that. Do you think Natsu will be able to merge the Dragon and Demon Seed together? I think he will at a higher point. Because my belief is that, like, during Alvarez's, his body wasn't strong enough for it, and it just wouldn't be able to take that level of power. I think that female shonen leads. I mean, we would have to do a stream for that. We can do that at some point. You don't like Chillall that much? You hate him that much? It's only on chapter 13, 14. I don't know what you're talking about with that one. I'm only doing shorts for anime. I mean, that makes sense. I thought about it, but, like, I don't really know how to do the shorts, but also, like, I don't really want to do the shorts. Because, like, most of the shorts are, like, people doing versus stuff. And that's cool, but, like, I don't know. I'm just not as much on for, you know, doing a versus thing in the span of whatever 30 seconds. I'd rather do it on, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna talk about, like, actually go into stuff. Because I don't wanna like do it in, like, 30 seconds where it's like I don't give reasonings and stuff. Because then you have, like, those people that will just say stuff and they'll, like, oh, this is who I think is gonna win. But there's, like, a gap between, like, when they say it and it's like, oh, they can either give good reasoning and you can look and be like, okay, or you can see, like, they'll say shit that doesn't make sense, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why you think that is, because you have no idea what you're talking about. Like that idea shot guy when he's talking about Natsu, and he literally had no idea what he was talking about at all. So let's get to the Doron chapter. Right now, I want to go into this saying, like, my worry is that Doron is going to get axed, because I know that the first 2 volumes didn't sell very well, but I'm hoping I'm really hoping Shonen Jump is going to look at it and be like, kind of just hold out, see if, like, people will flock to, maybe not flock to, but start to kind of, like, pick it up if they know it's not going to get axed. But also maybe take a risk and just hold on to it and then give it a good anime. And why did I say anime like that? I was going to say animation, but I stopped, like, halfway, so I was like, anime? But I'm hoping that it will get a good animated series to where it has, like, the whole, I mean, like, you know, trending good anime phenomenon where it's like, hey, if we give it, like, a really good-looking anime, like, it makes us a lot of money instead of, like, putting out a fucking stoplight show. Like, question mark? Oh, big surprise. Okay, let me see. The 2 people who feed my strongest minions are having a supernatural energy to produce more pawns. Even my fog is cleared up. Yeah, this dude's done. This guy's about to get clapped. If he hasn't, it doesn't get enough to get away, he's absolutely going to lose. Under retreat, heal my wounds, recover supernatural, and you think it's going to happen. Oh, hang on. I pray on more children. I can always pray on more stupid children, like Kusanagi. So that means Kusanagi's a child for his race? Like, how old are they? Like, I wonder how old the Mononoke generally live. Are they just ageless, or is it like a maturity thing? Okay, you have Dora obviously confronting this dude Dosan. He's like being a coward and trying to like pretty much just be a pussy and like beg for his life, even though he's a piece of shit. And we know he's not genuine. That's the thing. I'd be like, if I saw this dude doing this, I'd be like, you're full of shit, dude. I don't believe you. I told you I'd cut off that long nose. Yours good. Chop that shit off. And he's just apologizing. He's saying that, but it's scary hard enough. He threatened me. I had no choice. That's a lie. I drop pathetic acts. Your lies are obvious. Thank you, Dora. Thank you. Like, yeah, don't take this guy's shit. Like, here's the thing. If we didn't know the backstory of this dude, I would be like, maybe that's true. Maybe he actually was like pretty much put in a situation where he had to do that, and he had to kind of like. He pretty much had to work with this dude and pretty much was forced to. But we saw the backstory where it's like he's like backstabbing people to get stronger. Like, I would just immediately be like, no, there's no shot. I don't know, like, I don't think Dora was ever told on it, but like from Kusanagi, I'd be like, yeah, no, you keep trying to backstab me. I'm not falling for it again. Okay, good. He's like saying you can't fool me anymore. He's wrapped around his nose. One thing I really like about Kusanagi's design is like the whole like shape-shifting thing, but it makes me really wonder like how is it going to advance in the story? And that's one of the things I really want to see, like, that the series progress, because I like his whole ability to turn into things. It's really basic, but it's like having that as a pretty much part of the main character's power set means obviously, like, you know, at some point he's going to get some upgrade, some evolution or whatnot, and what that's going to look like in here. Like, is he going to get some, like, way cooler katana with, like, maybe Kusanagi having a more badass form? Maybe the eye will move down to, like, the cross guard, and he'll have some, like, really sick, longer, curved blade or something. So it just adds, like, an extra level of badassery to, like, the general setup. Let's see. Just says he's not going to let him hurt his friends or family. Makes sense. Of course, he's not going to after this dude did already. Oh, dude, he didn't even freaking cut his nose off. He punched him so hard it ripped off. That would suck. But yeah, fuck this guy. Ripped his nose clean off. Good. Kill this guy. Oh, Kanbei's here. Kanbei's probably gonna kill him, I assume. Looks like he absorbed him. He's like, oh, you don't think good as you saved me. That's when the other dude showed up. There's much time left. We have some supernatural energy, didn't you? Okay. He says, yeah, just like you told me. I wonder if this will work now that you're weakened. Okay, so he absorbed him. So that makes me think, like, this guy was supposed to be powerful, but I think he was more of, like, a trickster enemy rather than a fighter. Because even now, he's like, you know, I don't know, maybe this will work now that you're weakened. So clearly, even beforehand, he was a bigger deal. I know they said, like, in terms of, like, supernatural energy, he's, like, one of the best manipulators of it in the Mononoke world. But, like, he just didn't seem very powerful. But I can understand, like, why he would be strong for, like, where he's at. Like, he's kind of like Aaron Arrow in Bleach, where he's... You know, what was it, a Gillian Arankar, you know, the lowest and weakest class, but it's just like, by the nature of how he works, he's just strong and dangerous because of that. Kanbei's kind of neat. I mean, I really liked Hidehisa in his design. I thought he was cooler, but, like, I like that Kanbei is just, like, you know, he's, like, the sinister guy in the background. I'm hoping that he will end up being more relevant as things go on if the series survives, because I mean, you know, his design is weird, but maybe he'll be one of those characters who has like a weird design just while he's doing the whole manipulator kind of role, and then maybe later get a cooler design if the series survives, that is. Saying that the dude vanished and the supernatural energy is gone. Yeah, it went into that stone. I wonder what his plan is. Like, maybe they're gonna try and like bring out some bigger deal character. This guy was trash, but still, you know, why'd you kill your friend? Oh yeah, Dora's one of the ones he's not a fan of team killing. But I was like, yeah, this guy's not my friend. He's like, yeah, I just use it for my own purposes. That's what I would say. Be like, this guy is not anybody. Like, if I was Kanbei, I wouldn't even do like this. He's like, you know, it wasn't useful anymore, so I killed it. That's all. I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do the whole like villain. You know, this guy wasn't on my side. He's more useful than me this way. I'd just be like, this guy is a friend to nobody. Like, this guy is not loyal to anybody. He's not anybody's friend, so who cares? Like, I would just straight put that out there. I would put that on the table and be like, you should be happy about this. This guy backstabs people all the time. Fuck this dude. Okay, let's see. He's like, you were going to kill him anyway. I mean, yeah, so I don't know why you're that mad about it. The TV together, just using, the two of you are using each other for your own purposes too. I mean, they're working though in synergy for like a good thing, so it's not really a good argument. We trust each other, work together because we're friends, and our trust is what makes us strong. Yeah, like there's this like camaraderie, like where they actually have like a balanced relationship versus like these guys who are like backstabbing each other the second it's beneficial to them. So the dude just laughing. Says you're so name miracles alive. Is he gonna power up or something? I'm just so worried that this guy's gonna end up like being the rushed ending villain. Like maybe this chapter, because like this chapter will definitely like anytime rather than any of these chapters come out, I'm just like looking for signs of like acts or continuation, and like so far it's looking like it's going pretty good. If this guy lives, I would assume the series is gonna keep going. If he's supposed to be like more of the like longer villain you're supposed to pay attention to, not he said, not the spider chick, not Dosan. It's like this dude specifically is who you're supposed to be kind of like more aware he's going to be the bad guy doing the bad guy things. You get extraordinary power from that connection. Okay, they're just a thing, because we know that his power, it's not like a just kind of rising. It's not like a rising kind of number. It's like goes in spikes whenever they power up. It's time to get rid of you. Since the samurai officer drawing near. Yeah, you better fucking get out of there, dude. Nine-fold fox part. So is he going to be like a nine-tailed fox? That's pretty cool. So, like, I mean, nine-tailed foxes are just cool in general. I guess that would explain his, like, tricky, weird personality. And again, if you survive this, like, you just throwing attacks at him. Disintegrate. Because there's fire everywhere. This is, like, spooky fox fire. Now, Tora's here. So if he got away with before now Tora showed up, then, like, I assume he's going to be okay. Fine, thanks for your help. Now, Tora, though, is, like, I really like her. Like, she's like Kusanagi, but I'd say more so. Like, she's my favorite character so far. I like her design. I like her personality. I like that she's, like, one of the bigger people, but she's, like, nervous and kind of awkward when it comes to, like, being on the job to, like, certain scenarios. I like that. That nine-tailed fox. Wait, that fox face Mononoke got away. So he must be a nine-tailed fox if he's saying, like, fox face and stuff. They're just kind of like having a back and forth. I've always known friends, of course. It's like, okay, that's nice. I'm glad she apologized for doubting Kusanagi and his capabilities. I like how they're like, they're Dora fans. They are a fan of the guy. Oh, he's backlit. I was like, what does that mean? For a second I was like, are they like trying to say he's lit? I'm confused, but it's like, oh no, because the sun rising. It's like, oh, it's just because of the way that the scenario was. That was a fair chapter. Like, that was pretty alright. Like, nothing crazy. I liked it. My thing, obviously, is, like, one, I like Kanbei. I like that Kanbei is, like, he's one of those bad guys that right now that he has a bad guy vibe to him. Like, there's nothing crazy about him so far, but I like that so far he's one of those characters that feels like he's, like, you're not going to get him. Like, he's going to keep getting away. He's going to keep causing nefarious things, and he's going to keep being a bad guy. I like that. I like when bad guys do that. Kind of like how Mahito was in Jujutsu Kaisen. And then I really liked that Kusanagi did not fall for Dosan's shit. That was probably my favorite part of the chapter. I really liked how the dude was trying to play his field again, trying to do some backstabbing thing. Dora at the go was just like, no, I don't trust you. Fuck no. Or it has, Kusanagi took a second, but when it came down to it, he's like, yeah, I don't trust you either. You're full of shit. That was probably my favorite part of the chapter, just because, like, I got why Kusanagi wanted to help him in the first place, because he just seems to be a good-natured dude, and he was, like, playing into, like, lying to the dude, but then it's just, like, yeah, I'm glad that he didn't be, like, after he tried to eat you again, that you didn't be like, well, he said he's sorry. It's like, no, fuck that. Fuck this dude. He's a prick. Get rid of him. Cut off his nose. But they ripped his nose off, so that's even better. What's up, Crystal Sanders? How's it going? Gay Nightmares is... Oh, Gay Nightmares is only 13 to 14 chapters. Yeah, I'm going to read it soon. I wonder, Mira Jane had so much potential. Mira Jane's fine. The problem is, like, Mira Jane just... By the nature of her abilities, like, demons can only get so strong in the series. Like, her powers, because it's like... Unless she somehow has Larcade's soul or Bloodman's soul, I don't really know where else she can really climb to. Unless she does something kind of like how Lucy has Stardust Mix, where she starts to combine her demons into newer forms. Just because, like, it's not the same as, like, Urza can get a new armor with, like, an ability, and then it's, like, obviously putting the armor and weapons, it's going to get then further increased with her own power. It's way different. Like, Mary Jane, like, her Satan Soul, like, different kinds, like, different types of demons that she takes in their abilities and whatnot. It has to be in a way that it's going to... It has to be a way that logically, she'd be stronger to kind of keep up. But it's like she doesn't have anything that really, like, would let her sit now. Because even, like, her strongest form is what? Allegria. It can only go so far. Like, if she was able to then fight even the, like, lower Diablos members, that'd be believable. But it would mean that, like, this is, again, where she's peak at. Like, this would be at her max. Like, she had to go to Ellen tier or something to get just, like, a critical magic boost. But yeah, I thought this was good. I thought this was a pretty solid chapter. Short's the easiest way to grow, but you don't have to do verses. You can do fights, character animations, funny character acts. I don't know. I don't really want to do that, though. I care more about, like, what are my expectations for 100 Quest anime. I just want it to look good. And I'm hoping that they don't, like, try and cram too much into the first season. But, I just want to keep my stuff more of, like, I just don't want to ever feel like I'm trying to, like, cheat the system and get people to, obviously come to the channel. Like, I just want it to look naturally good. I just don't want it to look too strange how I'm doing it. Oh, Kurt Overbeck Hunt versus Shura. Who would win this time? I would probably still give it to Shura, because I don't think that, like, how Hermit won the fight here, I don't think it would really be beneficial to fight with Shura. Because Shura is a whole different kind of fighter, and on top of that, like, her way of battling, I don't think would really be beneficial in a fight with Shura. Just by the nature of how Shura uses his ether gear. Hope Doberman isn't killed off after his fight Natsusaku. I don't think it'd be super lame. As long as Mishima goes all in, as long as he goes similar to Zero, I talked about this a little bit, as long as he goes similar to Zero, where he just goes all in, puts a lot of personality, has a great time showing this guy, like, in a battle, and just really lets us get, like, the full experience of him within this arc, I'm fine with it. I just don't want it to be, like, he fights and that's it. Like, I want to find out about him. I'm hoping for some flashbacks, find a little bit about, like, his connection with Ignia, maybe find out what happened, like, with him in the past, maybe even something with Eleftheria. Like, I want substance and content from him that will, like, if he dies, it's like we got the full set of his character. I don't want it to be like Alderaan. We, for the most part, got, like, what we needed from Alderaan. The only thing with Alderaan I think we didn't get is, like, some flashbacks to kind of see, like, going to confront Actologia and whatnot. What was it like, during the first bits when they had to start fleeing from and whatnot. Like, stuff like that is, like, where I was, like, I wanted to get more from him, but mostly in kind of, like, backstory content. If Dogromag gives us that and, like, really shows his character off, because, I mean, I like Alderaan, but Dogromag already seems to have, like, he's gonna have more personality. To a degree, I think he might already. But I just really want him to just be a character where it feels like we got the full experience. Because Zero was not, he was a very surface understood character. Like, he was not complex. He really wasn't layered. But we got a lot from him in that span of time, and he's a fun, memorable villain because of that. Like, Zero is when it comes to, obviously, my favorite villains in the series, and Mishima's series in general, like, Zero's not going to rank too high, but if it was in terms of enjoyment and memorability, like, I would put Zero pretty high up, because I liked his fight. I thought he was a lot of fun. That part of the series was also really good. If we can get something like that from Dogromag, I would be perfectly fine if he dies within the arc. I would also okay with him not dying, because I like him, but I mean, like, what I'm saying with it, obviously, is, like, if he dies, I want it to feel like we got the whole package. We didn't just get bits of Dogromag. We got all of Dogromag. We got the Dogromag experience. What did Demon Slayer sales before the anime? I have to look. I mean, they're out there. I don't think they're that crazy. I remember when Demon Slayer was starting to kind of, like, rise up, and I made a video on it that Demon Slayer was going to get big. It's pretty hype. I did the same thing Jujutsu Kaisen called it, and I did the same thing with Chainsaw Man, and I know Chainsaw Man is going to blow up, but it wasn't even close as it was before the anime. Demon Slayer did pretty good before the sales. Oh yeah, the sales just, like, the anime, like, exploded the sales. Could Mirror not have a similar power up to Demon Force? No, because those are two different things. And on top of that, like, it would just be pretty much what she's already doing. There's, I hope Dover, I read this one. There's a few weeks late, but Rax seemed to think that that Ayashimon was about to end a few weeks ago, but like the next day was announced the next chapter would be the last. Yeah, it's because like you gotta look at like there are certain telltale signs like when things are starting to rush. When the dude took form, what was his name, Dopo or whatever. When he took his form and he was fighting him, I was like, okay, well maybe it's gonna be one of those things where it's like kind of the main character getting a gist of the fight again against this guy, and it's gonna show, oh, he's able to fight him now, but like this guy, because he's just copying him, he's not gonna be as powerful, he's not gonna be as skilled, all those things. But like when he pulled out his trump card, like that form, I was like, this is getting axed. You don't pull out like the current big villain's trump card against a guy pretending to be him, like imitating him, and then not think that it's getting rushed. So you got the best ass in the series. I mean, yeah, it's fucking wider than her shoulders. Justin's Elsie's and Grand Chariot together would be great. That'd be pretty cool. Just where Celine got a big forehead. Her forehead's fine. It's clear. It is clear in Fairy Tail is demon only existed through the books of Seraph. That's not true. There are natural demons. There are natural demons. Like, remember Galuna Island? Like, there are natural demons. They just don't seem to be nearly as powerful. So let's read the Mashle chapter. This is the last one we're going to read today and see where this goes. I'm excited for the Mashle chapter. I said before, the Mashle chapter was going to be the one that I was most probably excited for, just going into this. I want to see more of the Dragon King guy. Like, that guy looks cool. This dude looks neat. This was one of the brothers, actually, wasn't it? Let me go back, actually. See, because like, I actually want to go back and look, because I forgot to update my Viz subscription, and I just have not remembered to do it in so long. So like, I still don't have that. Let me see. I keep forgetting to update it. I'll do it at some point. Let me go to Mashle, because I want to go back to the the chapters where it showed all the brothers, and it gave us an understanding of like what they were doing. It was a couple chapters. Let me see. It showed all the brothers meeting. Okay, here we go. 103? No, even further back. Was it 100? Okay, here's the guy. So which brother is this? Because I actually want to know. I'm actually really interested in the series, and I like it. What was his name? Deli Saster? That's a name. That's a name there for you. Like, I completely forgot. Third son, Epidem, and then I forgot the second. I know the first one is Doom. Doom is the oldest brother. What was this guy? Famine. Obviously, Doom is the strongest one. Delizaster, though, that's a name. That's a name right there. So let me go to the chapter. So this guy's cool. I like his design. I like his cool lines. I think they look neat. He's got a neat looking wand. Let's see what he can do. He has like a big blade come at the chick. Wasn't this was she the knowledge cane? Let me go back to that last chapter actually really quick. Because hers was like, I think her thing was like, she, like the knowledge cane rather, like it put like a bunch of info. Yeah, this chick. She put a bunch of info in the guy's head until it like he like clawed out his own body or something. Or no, she put the idea of like wanting to destroy himself in his head. That was like how his thing worked. Okay. And what was her name? I wanna get this because like I actually am intrigued. Sophina Biblia. That's a cool name. Let me see. Okay. Back to the actual chapter. There's nothing harder than the spine of a book. I feel like that's not true, but I guess like the magic book probably has some form of reasoning to it. Okay, here's the ice dude. Oh, the ice dude, he's fighting the second brother, Epidem. Yeah, I remember his name. He's gonna, like, I feel like these guys are gonna get, like, the Canes, these divine visionaries. I think they're gonna get fucking clapped by these, because these brothers are, like, pretty much, like, as far as we know, the other brothers, like, the four brothers, are gonna be the strongest in the series. Because what was his name? Domina? He was, like, stronger than any of the Divine Visionaries, wasn't he? And he was the weakest out of the five. Let's see. Okay, the, like, Ice Dude, the Ice Dude. Actually, I think that's Ice Girl. I don't really know. Says, top of my dessert plate, dressed in all caramel, please. Oh, this guy's just upset. He lost his pudding when somebody sneezed. Slid off the table. Oh, why is he so mad? Just go get yourself some more ice cream. Sit out the door so I can eat dessert dressed in all caramel, please. Hold on your pudding and don't ever sneeze. Oh, this guy's just kind of crazy. That's probably why. I mean, I get it. This dude, Epidem, is cool. Oh no, the dragon guy is fighting at the number 2. I mean, at least that means like we're probably gonna get a cool display. I don't know if it's gonna be one of those like parts where they get completely ran over or they get off screen. I just hope my only hopes for this dude is like I get a couple cool dragon spells. Like that's all I'm asking for with this guy. If this guy can just do a couple cool things, couple cool moves with a dragon, that's all I'm asking for. That's the only thing that I'm requesting from this. So please, just do something neat. I would really appreciate it. I'd really like it if this guy could just do something intriguing. So let's see. Okay, he's got his cards up. I like his design. He's not overly kind of strange like the other two. I suppose it's fine. Peace demands we go to war. True contradiction. I agree. But we are the victims of this vicious karmic. The dude card disappeared, so Dragon Dude's... he's already cut up. Okay, but it's all right for him. Okay, he's not like done worried. Suffering to experience it is truly the essence of life. I mean, that's a part of that is true as well. Okay, so this guy's crazy. The Dragon Dude is pretty crazy. What is his name again? Let me go back to the chapter. What is the ice person to? Ice person's name is Surara. I think that's a girl. I think that's a female name. And this guy's name is Agito. So Agito is this guy. So who's going to be fighting Doom? Whoever fights Doom, I think, is going to die. Because he's like the biggest deal out of them. We know that. And he doesn't even have to fight with magic half the time. He can just fight with his bare strength. Oh yeah, he's fighting the Immortal Cain. That's right. We saw it at the very end of the last chapter. Because he got chopped up, and then there was that really cool panel where he slashed. And you had like that backdrop. The angling of panels, like the bigger spreads, is probably my favorite art thing about Mashle. I forgot that was his thing. Like he just kind of healed. But like, what is that really gonna do to this guy? Guess we gotta find out. With his arm chopped off, use this try as you like. That makes sense. Like thinking about it, it's like, yeah, you put the Immortal guy against the strongest guy, so he can get chopped the fuck up a lot. Cut off his head. Ooh, I really like the fact that he's using the. He's using like the fact that there's a weird window and he's got like the shadow going on the floor of it. That's a really nice attention to detail thing. I really like that. Applaud your persistent attempts. The best means of regeneration. You might have gotten farther and you're not around to me. Yeah, it's a pretty bad lot. I will say like I'm hoping this is like somewhat entertaining because obviously like other people probably read the chapters already, but I'm hoping this is at least enough that we can. I'm hoping this is enough that like maybe like we can do this regularly and it can kind of hopefully build every week. He spits blood at him, but like that's not what's that gonna do. I guess we gotta figure out what his blood power is. I guess if he's immortal like body manipulation types, like you could probably do something with blood. Says I fought guys like you before and I beat every one of them. What do you mean? Like really powerful OP guys? I doubt it. Like this guy's supposed to be like the fucking pretty much the number 2 of bad guys. Ooh, look at that. Oh yeah, because they have the wands. Okay, that makes sense the way he has more. Because I was thinking just of his base magic, but that makes complete sense. His wand is like a finger. That's cool. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I completely forgot about like the way that like the buff wands go, like where you can get like stuff from like a god and then you can eventually summon them. Thanatos, god of death. Like he's got like this blood scythe. Like that's pretty sick. So he's probably gonna blood manipulation. He cuts him and then like the blood becomes chains. That's pretty neat. Oh, he's fully summoned Thanatos, god of death. Yeah, Undead Thirds. Like he's summoned him up. So is he a triple liner? Or because isn't that like the thing for triple liners? I'm looking. I might be wrong. Let me see. Also, I just realized we haven't seen Doom's lines at all, so they're probably over his eyes. I'm looking. Isn't the thing about no triple liners? I'm trying to remember the lore, because it's like, can double line people summon? They can summon the gods, isn't it? I thought it was like double line lets you kind of summon part of their power, and then triple lines is how you do the full power. Thoughts on Berserk turning? Oh, I'm fucking stoked. You know I love Berserk. The blood is entered into a pact with death. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look. This guy definitely doesn't have a third line. I'm gonna have to go back and reread some stuff. I don't think Doom is bothered by this at all. I think he's fine. Meanwhile, and then it goes back over here. Mash is almost good. What is he, halfway? I've been turning the key for 10 hours straight. I'm too tired to move. The meter's half full. Never make it time. Only someone had something energizing. Good. She's got tea. Boss lady, I brought you refreshing baked cannolis or cannolis. It's not cannolis. I don't know what those are. You're brilliant. Those are my favorite. Oh, he throws them and they land in her eyes. That's pretty funny. I like that. Like these chapters have all been really serious, and then it ends with like Mash on the ground, and then this chick's still trying to heal him up. Yeah, like I said, this was the most hyped chapter for me. I really liked this. Like it was good. Like the parts were good. And then once we got to Doom and Agito, like this was definitely like the cooler part of the chapter. Like people are sleeping on Mashle, like for sure. I wish Bud was here. Bud really needs to get on the Mashle agenda. Like I wish Mashle was like. I kind of hope he does like a bunch of content for Mashle, and then before it eventually gets like an anime, because that would probably do lots of good for his channel, especially like if Mashle ends up doing well, which I think it will. I mean, it's kind of like Magic One Punch Man. Personally, I like it more than One Punch Man because it doesn't have Mash be so strong that it's like he's gonna bust every enemy like the second he shows up, like Saitama does. I think Mashle is more interesting, in my personal opinion at least. I think Mashle has more of a... It has more of a set to kind of like keep the story kind of... to keep it to like it has still a serious story. Because like I said, Saitama and One Punch Man are cool, but the thing to me at least is it's like, if I know that Saitama like is never really going to get outmatched, it makes him feel more like a gag character, whereas Mash is just really strong. There are still people above him, and obviously he has to train. Let me see. Just realized I just read that one. I assume they're powerful demons outside the Book of Seraph. We don't know though. We have no idea. Like we've never really seen that were strong outside of the ones from the Book of Seraph. Like clearly Mary Jane has ran into some, but like how many are there? Where are they at? Like what's the deal? And I don't really know how many of them are going to be as powerful like as demons from the Book of Seraph. I don't know how much of that's going to matter because it's like Mira Jane will be cladding their power stuff onto hers. So as long as she gets a good power, then she, combined with her level of magic and stuff, could scale it up to like a higher tier. What do you think of Natsu further progressed as E&D? Lucy using the magic to bring to turn Natsu back to normal. I don't want that. I don't want it to be like something where she fixes him. I like how Natsu is like how he is, despite like what he is from a paper standpoint of like knowing like what he is as a person and whatnot. But anyway, other than that, thanks everyone for showing up to the stream. I'm gonna try and do this on the Sundays for Shonen Jump. I'll probably keep Shonen Magazine and stuff on the Tuesdays, and and just kind of do it while I do